Hey, what's up, everybody? So, today I'm going to be talking about how competition is good when you have a coaching business, especially a health or performance coaching business, because that market is completely full with coaches. So, first thing to understand is that markets are not like one specific area of people and that's it, right? Markets can intertwine with each other, right? You can have something that helps people with health, but helps them make more money, and vice versa, and help with relationships and all that, right? So this concept of like strict markets is easy for us with a human brain to understand, but it's not really the case, right? And so that's the first thing to understand. There's a lot of fluidity, and with that, there's a lot of abundance, right? Because there's always new people coming into the market, either as buyers or as providers of a solution. And the only time when a market is saturated, and I learned this from Charlie Morgan, is when the problems are solved. So if your industry, right, the people that you serve still don't have all their problems solved, that means there's still a market. There's not enough competition, or at least there's not enough competition that knows how to solve those problems properly. So even let's say your market is like B2C, people that are desk bound between the ages of 30 and 50 and 45. There's so many people like that in the world. But even if it's like more in the B2B side, right? Where it's more businesses or like high level entrepreneurs or something. Um, First of all, there's still many of them. But even if there are 100,000, if you have a competitor that has had over 1,000 clients or something, that's still 1%, or no, sorry, 0.1% of the market, right? So there's a lot of opportunity out there. So based on that, let me share my screen and kind of walk through the rest of the concepts that I wanted to share with you all today. So being in the crowded market is good. Okay. It means there is money to be made. Like one thing that I see happen a lot of times is when people try to make their offers in the beginning, they try to create something that we don't even know if it's possible or not, right? In terms of like if people would buy something for inside of that. So I was talking about this with a client yesterday, and there's three stages, right? First is content that goes viral on Instagram and or wherever, and people are interested in watching, right? That's the first stage, the first thing you want to look for. The second thing you want to look for is people are buying low ticket products, right? So products that are costing below $500, that cost below $500. And then you want to make sure that people are also buying high ticket products of at least $3,000. And the reason why you want to look for these three things, especially the third one, honestly, that's the most important, is because you want a market where people pay high ticket, right? It's going to be really hard to scale a low ticket product. It's not impossible, but it requires a lot more marketing skills. Whereas high ticket, you get one person on the phone and you close them for $5,000, and there you go. That's $5,000, and you just do five times that per month, and you're at 25K, right? It's pretty straightforward. So you'd want to have a market where you know people are selling stuff for at least $5,000 to their audience. Okay, that's very, very important. So if you feel that you are stuck because of your offer, it might not be necessarily or your market, right? Because it's too crowded to the market. And by the way, I've fallen into this myself. It's probably not the market. It's probably your skill level at identifying and creating offers and messaging that resonate with the market, but still are different from what is out there, right? So it's not about an offer that like you cannot tell if an offer is good or not by itself, right? You can only tell it in comparison to something else. So 200 years ago, if you told somebody you can lose 10 pounds in the next 6 months, right? That would actually be a good offer because there were not a lot of people, I'm assuming, that were teaching how to do weight loss, right? But nowadays, 10 pounds in 6 months is really not kind of like it's not attractive, right? You need to offer a lot more, perhaps guarantees, or you need to phrase it in a way that sounds good. You need to add mechanisms or gears on how to make that happen, right? Why your method is better than others, just to make it work, right? Just to sell. So that's the thing. It's like the evolution of markets requires more and more work on the offer and the messaging in order to stand out, but still resonate with the market, right? So they don't see you as everybody else. But the good thing is that if you are of a different color, within the same market, you're going to stand out even more as more and more people get into the market, right? Um, Now it does come to a point where if you have so many people that you have to offer so much and you don't have the skills to deliver and you have to work for a really long time, you might want to consider switching, right? But think about this. Let's say there's a circle here, right? Or all this text, right? If you just glance at it, it's like, oh, that's a lot of text, like I don't want to look at it. But the reason why this title stands out compared to this is because it's bolded and it's enlarged, right? It's like it's different, right? But it's still in the same white space. But why does it stand out? Well, because it's not formatted the same. So it's the same thing about your messaging. So if you're stuck at 5 to 10K, even 20K, this might be something you need to work on, because the three main things stopping you from getting to 30K per month as a coach are your mindset, your offer, and your sales skills. So offer, right? Offer slash messaging. So what you need to do, and I like to use this analogy, right, is beating the ghost version of you, right? So in those old racing video games, at least I used to play them. I don't know if you used to do that. Basically, you would like run the lap for the first time, and then once you did it again to beat your record, right? You would see like a ghost, like a not a completely like gone version of your old lap, right? But you could see the car going through the whole course as well as you're going through it as well again, right? But it's like a light version of you, right? Like a less opaque a version of you, right? And that was to see, so you could see the pacing, right? You could see what you had done before and compare yourself, so you could try to beat it as a motivation, and also to see like in the real racing games you would be able to see exactly how you take each curve and when you would brake and stuff like that. But that's too advanced, doesn't matter. So basically the point of that is that you need to always be comparing yourself to the previous lap. And I would even go as far as saying the previous day, right? In terms of previous lap. But sometimes week by week is more realistic. What does this look like though, right? What you want to do is every single day, look at your messaging and offer and see how can you stand out even more? How can you be more you, right? How can you add more value to your delivery so you can put that in your marketing, right? So for example, I've been seeing a lot of AI stuff, obviously in the past, but also now. And in my space, helping coaches, I don't see a lot of people talking about AI and how to use that specifically to get more coaching clients, right? They might mention, right, there might be like viral accounts talk about AI and how to create content, but not specifically for coaches and throughout the whole process. So that's the thing that I'm implementing now in my messaging, right? Because I'm seeing that the market is not doing that. So that's my way of standing out. And you could try to do the same, because that's really, really helpful, especially for health offers, right? Because that's quite saturated nowadays in terms of being a crowded market. But again, that's good, right? There's money. Now you just got to stand out. So let's talk about a few ways on how to send out. Okay. And here's one of the reasons also why like money offers are easier to sell, right? Which ties into this. I'll explain how. Money offers are clear because either they make people money or they save them money, right? Which is usually at like the forefront of most people's desires nowadays. It's money. And that's okay, right? Money is great. Money is a tool, and people need that for a lot of different things. So it's harder to compete with that. But there's two ways around it, right? The first way is, and by the way, some health offers are also pretty clear, right? Like losing weight or building muscle. So that's pretty straightforward as well. But even then, right, comparing that to making money, especially for men, it's a lot more attractive to make money. So now the question is, what do we do about that? Well, you could just be okay with that, right? That's also the case. Like there's plenty of market for health offers, right? That's not an issue. Plenty of desire, right? But if you can turn that into desire for money, right, but still being a health offer, that's where you get something good, right? That's one of the ways to stand out. So for example, performance coaches, a lot of times they use the idea of working on your health, your routines, right, everything, your sleep, to help you make more money, right? So it's a health offer, sorry, it's a wealth offer disguised as a health offer, right? So if you can try to do that the same in your health offer, it can really help, right? So for example, um, don't help people lose weight, right? Help them do it so they can be more confident and get promotions or work, right? Or don't help people get rid of injury, right? Or become better athletes, get them back to their full health so they can achieve their dreams of being a pro player, or at least make a lot more money at work without the pain distracting them, right? So this is a way for you to position it in a way that it's actually a wealth offer. So you can kind of compete with the money offers, even though it's like a completely different approach. Um, and by the way, all these concepts come from the book called Blue Ocean. Okay. And it's basically talking about how like you can have two types of oceans, right? You have one that is a red ocean where there's a lot of sharks, a lot of blood, right? So a lot of competition. And then there's blue oceans where there are not a lot of sharks and you can just hunt freely. And it's not like you don't see it as like two separate completely spaces. It's like each element of your business is a blue ocean, positions you in a blue ocean or in a red ocean, right? So the way you present yourself, right, the way you tell your story, the way you kind of add certain elements to your messaging, that's what makes the blue ocean entirely. And it's usually also more of a spectrum, right? It's not completely blue or completely red. It could be in the middle as well. So that's one way to position yourself differently, right? Which is to make it a health offer. A second way to do it is to still focus on health, right? But focus in the way where it's like there's urgency. The problem with health offers, not the problem, but the one of the downside of health offers is that people don't see it as urgent as earning money, right? Like you have bills to pay, right? People have things they have to do, and people think kids to feed, whatever it is. And so that's more obvious, right? It's like, oh, if I made 10,000 per month, everything would change. But sometimes you've gone so long in the current health state that you are that you kind of take it for granted and you consider it okay or just part of life or part of getting old, right? You've heard that, maybe people say that, or they just accept the reality as they are, like, oh, I just can't sleep, I'm an insomniac or whatever. All these things are much more common inside of the health market because it's not the primary thing that people look at. So the best thing you can do is either focus on people that are in pain, right? And when people are in pain, they understand health, right? Like, have you ever gotten sick and then you wake up and you feel your throat is kind of itchy and you just feel a light fever and it's going to get worse? It's like everything just shifts to that, like the priorities, right? Like you forget about your business, about work, or about whatever, and you just look into that, right? And so the reason why that happens is because, well, health is number one, right? If you don't have your body, you can't enjoy your money, you can't do anything, right? So it doesn't matter. But that only happens when the sickness comes, right? So either it's about when the sickness comes to get rid of that, right? And that could be multiple things. It could be being overweight, it could be lack of sleep, right? It could be making less money because they're not optimized with their routine, or it could be the dangers of that happening, right? The perception that that could happen, right? So that is another way to look at it. And so that's kind of like how I would position it. Like, go for people that are sophisticated, right? That understand a little bit more about the things that you help with, so it's easier of a sales process. But also focus on the ones that, and also not but, and also focus on those people within that market that have pain or are fearful of potential pain, right? So people that have an injury, right, and want to get rid of that. People that feel completely, they have no ability to be mobile because they're obese, right? They're very, very overweight, or they feel the pain of being overweight and feels like people are judging them or something, right? Any kind of gap that you can find there, it's going to be much better, easier, and better to sell to. Um, so those are two main approaches, because ultimately health offers, it's, again, people are not thinking about that. So that's pretty much how I would stand out in a health market. But I'll leave you with this: the most important thing is, don't try to make stuff up. Okay, focus on the thing that or is already selling in the market and just make it 10 times better, right? So you might be somebody who's really good at something, right, specific, but it's not about you, it's about the people in the market, right? So the way I would look at it is like in three circles, right? Imagine like three circles intertwined, like a Venn diagram, but like with all three circles intertwined, where the center is like the merging of all three, where one is the skills that you have, two is the problems of the people in a specific market. And then three is people that you could help, right? People that you are passionate about helping. All those three together will give you your niche, let's call it, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Health offers can sell just as well, if not better, than money offers. You just have to position them correctly. You have to focus on the pain, right? And ultimately, you have to, in the competitive market, which is great to be in, you need to differentiate yourself with offer and messaging. So hope that was helpful. Have an amazing day. So if you want more videos like this, just like this video and subscribe. I'm going to be releasing 3 videos a week for the foreseeable future. So yeah, hope you have an amazing day. And if you're a coach, subscribe and talk soon.